Let's dive right in and talk about castor oil. It can give your skin that soft, glowing, elastic, and firm look. Whether you have these little fine wrinkles or bigger wrinkles or dry skin, you need to use castor oil. The main phytochemical that's behind all these amazing effects is called ricinoleic acid. It's a deep, penetrating moisturizer. It kind of traps the water in there and it keeps you super hydrated. This is why a lot of people actually put this oil on their face at night, and then when they wake up in the morning, they're like, wow, my skin looks significantly different. You can definitely see a huge change very quick. This plant-based chemical also has very powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Applying castor oil onto a face that's inflamed is a very effective remedy. Castor oil also has an antimicrobial effect too. You have to understand that there is an entire microbial life on the surface of all of your skin. Those microbes are there to protect you against all sorts of bad things. You have to realize that there's a lot of skin-related problems that are an overgrowth of either bacteria or yeast or even a fungus. Castor oil is the perfect antidote to that. There's also a bacterial component to acne. Castor oil also has a good amount of vitamin E. Vitamin E can give you protection against things like UV radiation and pollution. Some of the properties in castor oil you can put on a wound to heal it. It also has other properties of fading the darker spots on the skin as well. This can overall give you a nice even complexion. In castor oil, there's a vitamin A precursor, beta carotene, which can help support the skin. You also have a good amount of magnesium and potassium, which the skin can benefit from as well. And there's even some evidence that castor oil can help stimulate collagen synthesis, which is actually very important in the anti-aging process to keep that collagen as full as possible. You would definitely want to apply castor oil to any scars that you have, acne scars, scars from stretch marks, which happen to be on your abdomen, any scars in the body. You want to routinely rub a few drops into a scar for a period of maybe 30 seconds. As far as the potency of this anti-inflammatory effect, it can be comparable to something like ibuprofen. How do we apply castor oil and what it can do for your face? It's definitely nature's natural Botox. It's really stood the test of time. It's been around for thousands of years. Egyptians used it, the Romans used it, many other civilizations used it for certain healing properties. Let's talk about the 7 warning signs that you may have parasites. You probably already have parasites. The good news is they're not bothering you. They haven't turned into some disease. The first sign is fatigue. Number 2, a rash. And this is because of your immune system reacting. Because when a parasite invades the barrier in your gut, for example, and gets in your blood, you can have an immune reaction that shows up in your skin. Number 3, weight loss with no reason for losing weight. You're not on an exercise program. You haven't changed your diet. The parasite is eating a lot of your nutrition. It's living in your small intestine. It's thriving. You might start developing nutritional deficiencies. Number 4 is bloating, because there's a parasite in your gut and it's creating an immune reaction. Number 5, teeth grinding. Do you grind your teeth a lot at night? Think parasite. Number 6, itching, especially in your private parts, like anal itching. And number 7, anxiety. And so when you have an imbalance of microorganisms, the parasite, that's going to affect your head. And that could be related to brain fog as well. There's an interesting theory. It's called the Red Queen hypothesis, where you have the host and the parasite that is co-evolving, existing together, competing for resources. Each side develops new strategies. And for example, if we never had parasites or pathogens, which create infection, it would never force us to become stronger, to develop certain strategies of survival. Your immune system learns from it and becomes stronger, so the next time you're infected, you have antibodies sitting there waiting to defend you. Our immune system develops a defense against parasites. There's all sorts of chemicals that are released by cells to help kill the worm or whatever organism there is. On the flip side, parasites have their own strategies. One strategy is to evade your immune system. And one way they do that is to downgrade your ability to absorb vitamin D. In fact, 10% of all of the genes that you have are associated with vitamin D. And vitamin D also controls a lot of the T cells, the ones that are the quarterback that control and coordinate your immune system. Another wild strategy from a parasite is to change the behavior of the host. One example of this is something called Toxoplasma gondii, which causes the rodent, the mouse, to become fearless. So it will be more likely to be eaten by a cat because Toxoplasma gondii only can thrive in cats. But somehow they have to alter the behavior to be able to survive. Another strategy that parasites use is to take a certain protein and cover themselves to evade the immune system, because this protein mimics something in your body or something that's benign. Another strategy is to be able to go dormant and wait until you're old, you're stressed out, until the immune system is weak, and then they can kick in and actually come out and start surviving better, because they can't survive if your immune system is really strong. And so some microorganisms can change its relationship and become parasitic if the environment changes in your body. Let's take, for example, E. coli. In the large intestine, E. coli lives in a friendly manner. But when that E. coli goes up into the small intestine, and in that environment, that E. coli becomes parasitic. Another microbe that can become a parasite is H. pylori. Most ulcers come from H. pylori. And one survival mechanism that this H. pylori does is they release something that alkalizes the stomach, because they can survive better if there's not as much acid. You can even get a parasite from breathing dirt particles in the air from some construction, because there's a lot of microorganisms in the soil. Or what about you have a pet, a cat or a dog that sleeps with you, that you kiss? Animals are outside, they can pick up a parasite and they can very easily give you a parasite as well. Another way to get parasites is when you take antibiotics, for example. You literally kill off the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. This really puts you at a major risk immune-wise. Also realize if you consume a lot of refined sugar and junk, you're going to feed these parasites, right? They love that. Refined starches and flour products. You want to get rid of all that. Now I want to get into what to do if you actually have parasites. What can you do to clean them out or kill them and remove them from the body? These herbal remedies will kill these microbes as a natural antibiotic. Sometimes there's certain side effects. You can get constipated, and you can even get flu-like symptoms for like 2 weeks. I'll tell you really what to do to prevent the negative effects. Take something to keep the bile ducts open and free-flowing. Tutka is a type of bile salt that helps open up the flow of sludge through the bile ducts itself. I would take Tutka for 2 days, and you want to take it on an empty stomach. Take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Then you can roll into what I'm going to say next, which is a series of natural anti-parasitic herbal things and foods to help purge and kill parasites directly and indirectly. What you're really trying to do is get rid of the excess of these parasites to the point where your immune system can then take hold and take over and regulate it, so there's not this overwhelming infection. I don't think there's going to ever be a point where there's 0 parasites in your body. But if your immune system is strong, you're totally fine. They are really good at killing parasitic eggs. You don't need to take a lot of this, and I recommend taking these remedies with a meal. I mean, you're not creating a toxic effect in your body. You're just taking enough of these to make it very uncomfortable for these microbes to exist, because all of the remedies I'm telling you are anti-parasitic. The next really important remedy would be black walnut extract. I don't know if you've ever seen a black walnut. We have several trees in the hall. It is so bitter and has this incredible strong odor that is very, very anti-parasitic. The next thing, and I'm going to recommend to have this in your food, is 2 or 3 garlic cloves a day. Garlic, hands down, is one of the most anti-parasitic remedies in existence. That would be the basics. There's other things you can take too, like oregano oil. That's another good one, but you don't necessarily always need to overdo it, because just like it can kill off a parasite, it can create a reaction on your body as well if you're overdoing it. Even pumpkin seeds, right? There's a certain chemical that's really good for parasites. It actually causes paralysis of the parasite. That a lot of people make when they take supplements. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that I hear this a lot. We don't really need to take supplements because we can get all we need from our diet. And it's almost impossible to get vitamin D from food. So it's not actually very easy to get all of our nutrients, even if we ate a really good diet, not to mention certain foods that deplete us of nutrients, especially if you're doing a lot of refined carbs. Okay, number one, let's talk about timing. Okay, during the day, when should you take your supplements? Personally, I like to take almost all of my supplements in the morning because I want all these cofactors to be available in the first part of the day when I need more energy. In fact, I switched my intermittent fasting pattern where I'm doing 2 meals. One is breakfast and then a late lunch, and then I don't have a dinner. That seems to work. And the reason I did that is because it gives me more energy during the day rather than doing fasting and then eating late at night when I don't need the energy before I go to bed. Now, as far as taking electrolytes right before bed, I don't really recommend it because electrolytes can push fluid out of your body. Now, as far as vitamin D goes, some people do better to take the vitamin D in the morning. Some people do better right before bed. It tends to help them sleep better. You can experiment with that. The other thing I want to mention about the timing is that you don't want to take any calcium supplements right before you eat because calcium neutralizes the stomach acid and it's going to inhibit your digestion. The next mistake I want to talk about is taking too many supplements at one time and trying to swallow them. I personally use myself as a human guinea pig for a long time. I've tried pretty much every single nutrient, vitamin, cleanse, alternative program you can imagine. And one time, long ago, I decided to do a gallbladder flush. In this gallbladder flush, you take beetroot supplements and olive oil. I took a hand of these beetroot supplements, put it in my mouth, and washed them down with 12 ounces of oil. Big mistake. I should have used some water and I should have taken a little bit at a time because those beet supplements got stuck in my esophagus. And it was like, I started getting chest pain. I thought I was going to die, like a heart attack. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die from taking supplements. So I just kind of laid in a bowl and just pushed through it, and somehow I survived, but I don't recommend it. It was very, very scary. Some people do better just taking their supplements with a meal. It seems to go down easier. Unfortunately, a lot of people have inflammation. They go to the doctor. They get put on a certain medication, and that's pretty much it. But they're covering up the root cause. Dealing with inflammation goes way beyond just taking some fish oils. And I've been very lucky to be in practice for over 30 years to really see the underlying root causes of inflammation, because some of these causes are not in the medical literature. Inflammation is an immune reaction. It's not just about treating a pathogen or some virus or bacteria. The problem is when inflammation goes on too long, that's when we get all sorts of problems like cancer. Cancer tends to invade areas of inflammation. And anytime we have inflammation, we also have a lack of oxygen. And both inflammation and hypoxia causes cancer to grow more aggressively. Let's start with the first one, fibromyalgia, which is inflammation that spreads throughout the entire body. Now, one time when I was in practice, I reached out to my patients to find out who had fibromyalgia. 100% of all of these patients had fibromyalgia only on the right side of the body. As I was digging in further, I found out that they all had problems underneath the right rib cage. That's where you have the little tubes that are called bile ducts. And sometimes the bile that's supposed to flow from the liver into the gallbladder becomes thickened, and it can create a backup of bile into the liver, and that bile is like a detergent. It can irritate the liver, and it can cause pain that radiates up into the right shoulder, up into the neck, from something called bile sludge. I did something very interesting. I had them massage underneath the right rib cage, and just to hold that pressure for about a minute. And then I would reevaluate the pain, and it was like it went down to almost zero. I put them all on a remedy of taking bile salts with their food and also on an empty stomach. One type of bile salt is called TUDCA, and that just kind of really opens up that flow, and a person can see huge results very quickly. If someone has fibromyalgia through the entire body, it's usually not coming from the gallbladder. It's usually coming from a virus that has come out of remission. Epstein-Barr virus, shingles, another one is the herpes viruses, and all those viruses come out when your immune system is weak. What happens with stress is it activates cortisol. Cortisol suppresses the immune system.
Throat chakra is in the area of the thyroid. I now understand why I'm having thyroid issues. The drama that I was facing recently, or towards the end of last year, was fucking up my ability to speak for myself. I felt defeated. I felt I can't explain. I'm done explaining to people. I'm done with meetings. There was nothing that I was going to do about my situation that required me explaining to someone. So, um, I get this is the throat chakra where we pray. It's where we open up those things and we speak things that are not. To my dear. Yeah, thank you, my sweetie. So we speak things that are not as though they are, and that's how we call them. And then kadi tebezo, kadi manifestation dwell inside the throat chakra. They'll activate matzai and stuff like that. See, we must speak on top of that stuff anyways. So I think I'm understanding where the thyroid thing is happening. Hey, it means that I can like hey. But yeah, so now I'm in a season. The reason I was even able to say to you, okay, I'm in a season where um I don't work for Mahala, so if people try to knock me, I fetch it, and I'm being allowed to fetch that money. That show the throat chakra stuff. Di lokisa ka dipuo ntho tseo more than the action. So ke ntho e tla nakwang he. But I'd like to believe the little bit of meditation that I'm doing. Root stuff is being fixed. My money is getting fine. I still haven't told you what just happened. I'll tell you. Listen.
Sleep that I did have was really solid last night. So I think I'm okay today, like energy wise. Also, I wonder if the amount of the dosage in my capsules that I ordered will be equivalent to how much is in yours, if that makes sense. Like for it to be like an efficient amount to really be effective.
We're going to be doing in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, together with a practical breath that we're going to be doing, the exercises we're going to be doing together. Remember, there are different types of breath, guys. There's breath for calling your energy back, breath for cord cutting, breath for releasing, breath for, there's just different types, right? So we're going to be learning about that for people who want like a crash course on breath work, and just to be in a place where you can learn all of those different tools and know how to use them. And these are important skills because it's very beneficial to know how to clean your money patterns out, clean your relationship patterns out, clean your occupational patterns out, clean. This is the thing that it's so important, because the same way that we clean our bodies, we clean our minds, we clean our lives, is exactly what we should be doing with every single area of our lives. And that's like proper purification. I will be giving more information as we go along in terms of what is this, when do we start, and what is happening. So far, I just want you to see I did a little mini printout for myself, and it's looking beautiful. Yeah. Because that in itself is something that is also inherited. You are able to clear up your finances, clear up financial and money, the patterns and the cycles around resources. So that is very much an earth thing. It's an earth portal thing, because guys, remember that the earth portal is a place of survival, it's a place of safety, it's a place of stability. So part of like balancing that and cleaning it out. So when you're cleaning your money out, it's like you are cleaning your earth portal out so that there's a healthy flow of that in your life. And then the water, now this is going to be us now going into a week of cleaning your water memory out, relationship patterns, relationship cycles, past, present, and future, part of the memory that we've inherited and part of the memory that we've learned with time. And then the fire now has to do with work and occupation, cleaning up occupational patterns, right? Those that have been inherited, those that have been learned, and you're able to reprogram new memory in. We are going to be cleaning that up, and we're also going to be cleaning up the air, which is the mind, the heart, right? So these are also like things that have been inherited, because a lot of the things that reflect in our lives is because of the beliefs and the convictions that we're holding. So this is some of the work that we're going to be doing inside of the 6-week program. So this booklet, it's just going to be guiding us through just the main points of the things that we're going to be touching on.